Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters on That podcast. I'm your host, Brian. And today I welcome some special guests and some more blokes out of the UK. We got Val and we got Tom from the band, Erebor. How you doing today, boys?
Not bad, man. Not bad.
Thank you very much.
I would say, is this going to be one of those Hobbit sort of stories, the unexpected journey? I don't know if I'm getting recruited here.
That there was a joke originally where we were playing live, and somebody that we know quite well now originally came up to me because I'm about 5'6", and everybody else in the band's maybe about 5'10", 6 foot, and they literally came up to me and just said, "Are you called Erebor because you're the shortest person in the band and you're a dwarf?" And I was just like, thank you very much. So yeah, that was always that was a good one when I originally heard that.
But I guess, are you guys real big into J.R.R. Tolkien? Is that where the name actually came from?
Yeah. I think it's safe to say we're all pretty big Lord of the Rings fans. The name came about before the Hobbit films came out. And if we'd realised it was going to be a centrepiece of those films, perhaps we would have chosen a different name. But I suppose it's free advertising, isn't it? So we'll take it.
What did you originally call the band? Because before I joined, you were naming it something else, and I can't remember now.
There was another Tolkien reference. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was some lake somewhere in Valinor or something that we'd picked.
But I just can't remember the name. But yeah, then changed to Erebor. But that was before I joined. So
Actually, yeah, I was checking your music out last night. I was going to say it was killer, but man, you were doing 32 minutes. Jeez, it's just three songs.
Yeah.
I say it was a damn audiobook in the metal version. So yeah.
Well, we didn't write any of that. That's all the that was all the bassist and the other guitarist, Mia. They did all of that, and the bassist had a preset idea for what he wanted, and he already had something in the works. I believe, if I remember correctly, he said that somebody gave him the challenge to write music that sounded like something along the lines of infinite dreams trapped within a jar. And
the full story behind this is that we'd released something and we had a comment on a Facebook post. I can't remember for the life of me which post it was or who had made the comment. But he'd left some sort of comment saying, "Oh, you should write something about captured moments in a jar of infinite dreams," or something.
Yeah.
So we thought it would be really funny if we actually did that. So we did, and it's a 45-minute album now, based entirely off Facebook comment. So here's whoever that was.
It's turned out well, in my opinion. So we've done well with it.
I mean, we could say it was God at this point, if we wanted to say it that way. So,
it was fate, wasn't it?
I guess so. But I guess we'll go and jump into that a little bit here, too. Let's get a little promotion for your newest material you guys released. So, Infinitus Somnium, I guess part one, I don't know, but I guess there's 3 parts to it. But I guess who wants to do the honor of telling the audience about your newest release?
I can do that. So, it released in July. It took about, I would say, a year's worth of writing to kind of get into a position where we wanted to release it, and we recorded and mastered it with Sam Turbot at Ritual Studios, who did the first album before I joined the band, and yeah, it's done quite well. We wanted to kind of try something different and step away from kind of the technical death metal aspects to do something that was a bit more progressive and maybe a bit more out of pocket than what we would usually do or what they did prior to me being in the band. And if you're a nerd or a fan of video games, it's primary. All the lyrical content is primarily based from Morrowind, the Elder Scrolls. So it's basically the metaphysical principles behind the world of the Elder Scrolls. So that was the challenge I was given as the lyricist to do, and that's kind of what all the 3 songs are based around, essentially. So yeah, It was a good time recording as well. I really enjoyed it with Sam when we were doing it at Ritual. So yeah. Do you have anything to add, Tom? I mean, you did the drums in like a day.
I think you pretty much nailed it, to be fair, mate. I mean, it took us a long time from the first album to the second album to getting it like in a place to release. But I think that the delay, not delay necessarily, but the amount of time that we took working on it, I think has benefited the release significantly. You can tell there's a massive quality difference between the first and second albums. And I think this is something that reflects more where we are now than perhaps the first album did at the time. So a lot of that stuff was really old. We'd had it kicking around as songs for maybe 5 or 6 years by the time we got to release them. But the second one is like all new. Everything that's on that came in the time between the first and second albums. So much more reflective of where we are.
Yeah, because I remember Will saying originally that, because I joined maybe 4 years after you'd released the first album, something like that. And I remember Will, our bassist, saying originally they just wanted to play really fast, really heavy, all of the time, nothing else. And now that they've matured slightly, they want to kind of like start doing stuff that's a bit more, while still fast and heavy, a bit more experimental and kind of out there. So yeah, so that's kind of the story behind that.
I was my next thing was like you just took some magical good mushrooms, and then next thing you know, it's like Alice in Wonderland kind of unfolding before you in a Morrowind world. So. Yeah,
essentially. And
the worst bit is that we were all totally sober. It's just pure nerdism that got this album out. We're just really, really into it. No mushrooms were involved in the making of this record.
When I was given the when I was given the lyrical content to, because I got to write them, but I didn't get to choose the content of the album. And the bass player went, I would like it about this. Please write about this. And I had to go through quite an extensive back catalogue of lore Wikipedias to even get a general understanding of what I was supposed to do in this. But it turned out well, and he was happy, so therefore I was happy. So yeah, no mushrooms needed, just 20 odd years of sitting on a PC playing video games. It was kind of all that was needed. So
now we could yell at mom and dad, be like, see, video games were good for something.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay. I do have to give credit both to the production and even the artwork too. So I guess who did the honors for both production and artwork?
Production was Sam at Ritual Studios, who's a guy maybe an hour and a half down the road from us. Fantastic to work with. We've done both of our albums with him, and I would highly recommend him to anyone in the area or not. And the artwork was a piece that we bought from Erskine Designs, I believe his name is.
Yeah, I think that's him, yeah.
We had a few changes made to it because it was just a piece that he had made like for himself and put on sale, and we bought it. And we had the little sort of figure of the man added in the center and changed a few bits and bobs, but other than that, it was just a commercial piece that we picked up from him.
Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, thanks. He's great. It's nice to kind of have an album artwork that isn't just black or something like that. It's actually got some like color to it and some definition to it. So he's really good. He does really good work.
I know the amount of purple right there was almost like it should have been like a Prince album in that case. The purple rain going on there.
Yeah.
One of the reviews said that that one of the reasons they noticed it or picked it up was purely due to the fact that purple was their favorite color, and they saw it and they were like, I love when bands just incorporate purple, so I just took this one and just listened to it and I love it. So that's a nice album artwork can really garner people's interests and make them kind of look at it. So hopefully they will grab something maybe from him in the future as well and roll with that on a third album.
Actually, no, it just occurred to me right now. I think Purple was used in one of the SpongeBob episodes when they were doing those Krabby Patties. I don't know if you guys ever got to SpongeBob SquarePants.
We did, but I don't remember the episode specifically that you're on about.
It was SpongeBob went off to do his own thing. It was colorized Krabby Patties.
Oh, yes. Yeah, do you remember?
Purple was my favorite color. And now it's going to be, instead of like the whole thing with Pretty Patties, I think it was the name.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
It's like, hey, everyone, Erebor kicks ass. That whole deal. So, I mean, it immediately just came to me that, oh shit, we got to say that right now. So,
Yeah.
so that's all cool. And which part of the UK are you guys hailing from?
We're all based around the northeast, so the country's split into counties, predominantly not like states or anything, and we're all mostly from County Durham. Val, I think you're slightly further afield.
I'm in Tyne and Weir, but that's just essentially, you may have heard of it actually, Brian. It's a place called Newcastle upon Tyne. They do a brown ale that's originally from here, so that's where I'm from.
Actually, is it real close to London? Because I've been to the UK a couple times, but it was more, hey, like major spots. So yeah,
about as far away as you could possibly get without crossing the border.
We're quite close to the Scottish border. Yeah, like maybe an hour or two away from the Scottish border.
Okay, so I'm way off then. Okay, but even still, love the UK. Always want to go back there, to be honest. So, all right. So now we got the whole album out of the way. Let's get into the introductions right here first. But first off, boys, I want to welcome you to my podcast. The way it's going to work is just want to ask you guys some questions, get to know you more both as musicians, but also as the individuals as well here too. So, you all ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So, I don't know if we want to go by seniority, but I guess whoever wants to go first for the first question here, tell us your role in the band, and I guess tell us your backstory of how you guys became musicians, and then we'll get to Erebor a little bit later. So just start with just your backstory.
Do you want to go first, Tom? Because you are one of the original members. I am a fairly new member. 2 years.
So Tom, obviously, I'm the drummer. I've been playing drums for just approaching about 20 years, I think now. We've been doing Erebor for about half of that, I think. I think Erebor's 10 now. So started when I was 11, and I'll be 31 next year, so that's a hideous thought. We, sort of been in a few bands in the Northeast that never really went anywhere, and then found the guys that we're with in Erebor now, both my guitar players in particular, met through another band, and then we formed this. Got my brother in, my younger brother is the bass player. Went through a handful of vocalists until we got Val a few years ago, and we've been cooking on gas ever since, as the old saying goes. So I'll pass you over to Val now for more.
Yeah. So I am the vocalist. I kind of dabbled in a few things here and there originally, nothing that ever really was substantial in any way, shape or form. I was in a doom death band before I joined Erebor, which we kind of all just like went our separate ways from that. And then I maybe left it for about 6 months after that, and I messaged everybody in Erebor over almost like a go find musician kind of thing. I can't remember the real name for it, but like
join my band.
Yeah, join my band. That's it. And I just messaged them. They asked me if I wanted to do a tryout. I said yes. They gave me the songs that they wanted me to learn, and I basically just went through the tryout. And then later on, they got back to me and said that they'd like me to join. And I've been in the band for about 2 years now.
Must be longer than that, surely.
I think it's around 2 years. It may be coming up 3. And I've played live with them ever since, and I've been doing well. I say I haven't really got any musical talent in the sense of that I can't do anything except scream quite well. So I have been screaming for maybe since my mid-20s, and then only really gave it a good go when I joined Erebor. I'm the oldest in the band as well. I'm going to be 38 next year, so I don't know what Tom's crying about.
I wasn't going to bring it up, mate.
Worse than anybody else. So, but yeah, that's how I joined, and we've all been friends since, and we did the album together, and yeah, I've had a thoroughly good time playing in the band.
You've earned your fiver.
I guess your parents didn't really kind of encourage you to like take a choir or maybe chorus. I don't know what they do in the curriculum of the UK there in terms of exercising the vocal cords.
Yeah, not really. I did some actual singing lessons because I got told that I was a good singer, like just for clean singing as well. But I did that as more of an exercise, and that was of my own volition rather than anything else. Because when I was doing it, I was like, this is fun. However, extreme metal is kind of the thing that I like and want to do. So I just did those for the sake of just getting good control over my voice and things like that. And then I joined Erebor to do the extreme side of things. I tried guitars once, didn't really have the patience. Tried drums once, didn't really have the patience to sit down with it and do it properly. So I just, I think it's more along the lines that that I'm quite loud anyway, so I can project my voice quite well. So that's how I ended up doing what I do. So
I guess, Tom, did your parents kind of push you to probably play an instrument when you were younger, or did you just pick up drums like right then and there?
My dad's a guitar player and has been for forever. So I like tried guitar and stuff like that. I never really got the hang of it. But we'd gone to a music shop in Newcastle where Val's from. I can't remember which one it is, or even if it's still there. My dad was looking at guitars, something I was a bit bored, just having a look around, and they had some electric drums set up, and just sort of had a go, and thought, oh, this is actually really, I'm enjoying doing this. So yeah, that turned into an electric drum kit for Christmas from the parents, and then it's been a lifelong obsession ever since, I suppose.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't think they would dig the acoustic set because I'm a drummer as well. So my parents didn't want to deal with the acoustics, just banging on it all the time.
No, I think they probably regret the decision to buy me drums now, but they've done it, and I'm too far into this to stop. So thanks.
I am way too committed to stop right now. So yeah.
Spent far too much money on gear to stop.
That too, but I do have to clap you. I had to admit that blast beat was pretty killer. I listened to the Infinitus Somnium last night there too, so I have to give you credit. That was pretty damn good.
Thank you kindly. It's taken a lot of time to get to the point where we're at. I'm obviously still not happy with the skill level that I'm at, and there's parts of my playing that I look back on and think like, I could have done that better, or if we make a flood live or something, then I'll beat myself up about that. But it's all a work in progress, isn't it? It's a long road, and there's not really an end. So just got to keep walking down it, I suppose.
Just keep having fun with it. But I would say, anytime it's sort of progressive metal, I'm saying, in your case, it's like Oxford and Cambridge level shit going on right there. We can't really say Harvard or any of the Ivy League schools over here in the States.
I like it, man. That's a good description. I'll take it.
Yeah. I think Will will be very happy to hear that as well. So, considering he got most of it.
I mean, you also think about it with the progressive metal. It's like so many time signature changes. There's pretty much a whole lot that goes on. You sometimes even mix in various elements. Like sometimes you maybe get think Jeff O'Toole, for instance. You maybe get like someone who's playing a flute, for instance, or some sort of brass or string instrument going on right there too. So we go from like heavy death metal that you probably heard a good number of times already, then all of a sudden it gets melodic or orchestral at times. So yeah.
I think it's important and interesting to mix those in a way that's not jarring is the thing, because you listen to a lot of bands, and I like a lot of bands like the ones I'm going to mention, but like Planet X or Animals as Leaders and stuff like that, where it's a really in-your-face technical music that obviously has its place and is good, but I don't think people outside of musicians would normally listen to that kind of thing. So I think like taking that level of technicality and the compositional elements like that and making it more digestible to a sort of more casual audience, if that's an appropriate way to describe it. I think that's quite a rewarding thing. I think the boys have done really well when they've written this.
Something like that. But let's go ahead and jump into Erebor. So we already discussed the name. So I guess I think according to Tom, it seems like this project's 10 or so years old. But I guess let's get more of the history about it. So I guess whoever wants to do the honor.
I was there for all of it, so I'll do it.
Yeah.
So myself and the two guitar players were in a band in the area previously, and we had a bit of gigging experience. And it was a death metal band, but we weren't really sort of enjoying the direction it was going. It was very much brutal death metal, sort of mid tempos, and just, you know, chugging guitars and horrible vocals and lyrics and stuff. And it wasn't really what we wanted to do. I think you more sort of Cannibal Corpse type stuff. So we sort of got our heads together, left that, and started this. My younger brother Will had just picked up playing bass and was going through his Dimmu Borgir phase, and he was sort of getting really into that. So we picked him up and thought, like, oh, you know, we can develop him or whatever. And we had another guy as well, another guitar player for a little while, but he didn't stick around for very long. My friend Jack at the time was the vocalist, and we stayed like that for a couple of years, I think. Released an EP. We went our separate ways from Jack, and our good friend Ryan joined on vocals. He's been in other bands like Casting Tefra in the area, and everyone around here knows Ryan. He's like the most popular guy in the Northeast. Ryan stuck with us for a little while, and the band kind of went on a break for a bit when I went away to uni in Wales. Just because of the distance, we couldn't really sort of keep it going very well, so it was on pause for a little while. Ryan left in that time. Yeah, and then we didn't do anything for a little bit, focused on writing music and stuff. And then we put the post out looking for another vocalist, and Val stepped up, knocked our socks off, as we would say, and obviously we've been with him ever since, and I'm sure it's been more than 3 years, but maybe I'm wrong.
And then,
Taking a check of the time, yeah.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun, man. It's
Unfortunately. So, but I do have to ask, I guess this can also tie with the influences here. So I guess Val, I guess who really influenced like your vocal style? Because it seemed like you had a little growls, even some big squeals going on there in the whole album there.
yeah, vocal. It's strange because I don't really have influences in the sense of vocalists. I more have influences in the sense of lyricists, and I kind of just go with that. So I would probably say my two biggest influences lyrically have got to be Corey Taylor. I grew up in the new metal phase before I got into the really heavy stuff. A lot of the Slipknot lyrics I think are actually quite poetic and good. And strangely enough, probably Danny Filth as well. I know people like to rip on Cradle a lot, but in my opinion, if you actually read Cradle's lyrics, they're actually really, really, really good. They're almost like novelesque, and I think he does a really good. He's a really good lyricist. And when it comes to screaming, I kind of just started doing it, and I was just like, you know, this doesn't hurt doing it like this, so this is how I'm going to do it from now on. And then the pig squeals. Those were just, I remember when I first did one, I went to the very first tryout, and we've got a song called Malignant Tumor, and there's a part in it where there was no pig squeal, and then I just did one while we were there, and the look on everybody's faces when I did it was just kind of that thing of just like, okay, then I've done something good here.
Was that the first one?
That was the very first time I tried out. That was, yeah, like, wow. I did it, and I could see you all go like, oh, and I was like, yeah, that's hit the way that it should have done. So yeah, it's more lyricist influences than vocal influences for me. But I've been told I sound like the vocalist from Decapitated. I've been compared to Glenn Benton before. This isn't me trying to toot my own horn, but I've been compared to Alex the Terrible as well. But I've been told that's more in stage presence rather than sounding. But it's still a good comparison. So people have told me that I sound like those three kind of people. So
I would say for Alex Terrible, I think he'd have to be all decked out of tattoos, have kind of that menacing sort of.
I am actually pretty much covered in tattoos. I have 2 full sleeves and I've got a chest piece, like torso piece on the go at the moment. So I'm a lot shorter and not as stocky as Alex the Terrible. So I don't know, maybe Val the Small or something like that might be more appropriate or something like that. But yeah.
Actually, I think it's either you got to wrestle bear or he's got to not use the microphone. He just got to belt it. I think that's what a couple times he did.
I think you could probably do that, to be fair.
I could. Maybe. But I just, I just go first. I just kind of just go for it and then see how it, and just go by feel, really. I should probably start doing more warm-ups, but we never really have time. A lot of the time it's, get there, set up, get ready, do show, pack down. So maybe if we ever get, really big, I'll be able to do something like that.
I think that the focal technique that Glenn Benton was doing was more getting it up from the diaphragm and projecting it outward too. So I guess, do you use the diaphragm or you?
Yeah, it's strange. So when I was doing vocal lessons, my vocal teacher always told me, she always said, you're really good at controlling your breath. You never seem to run out of breath. So I basically, it's hard to describe. It is from the diaphragm and it's kind of from around here as well. It's almost like it feels at the sides here. So I guess I'm doing maybe something akin to false chords or something like that. I don't know the actual techniques of it. I could be doing it entirely wrong and I end up like Corpse Grinder or something like that, but it's been working so far. I've never really had any talking issues or anything, or vocal issues. So it's all from the diaphragm, keeping your breath steady, projecting outwards, and we use in-ear monitors now to listen to what we're doing when we're playing live, which has really helped in helping me keep levels so that I'm not overexerting myself and blowing my vocal cords out. So I do generally play it by feel and ear rather than any form of formal training.
I think the other thing with Travis Ryan of Cat Decapitation, I think he's using like 2 mics. I guess, have you used 2 mics or you thinks it just one? It's
just the one at the moment. I just use an SM58. It's just locked into it's like a rig that we have now, where we put everything in and we just put all the electronics into that and hook everything up, and then it just goes from there. So it's just one mic at the moment. I cannot really afford a specialist mic or a wireless mic at the moment, so it's just a standard SM58 because they're robust, they do what they're supposed to, and they can take a beating, and it's usually good.
So you also grew up in the new metal age, I guess. Are you more of a jumper when you're on stage, or you kind of move around all over the place like what you see Barney Greenway does with Napalm?
It depends. So the way I do it in a show is I've been to a lot of metal shows in my life, and crowd interaction is important, but it's also about crowd feel. I generally walk around and kind of try and interact, but if the crowd is kind of not necessarily not into it, but I have the tendency to find if you're an opener or they've never heard you before, the crowd have the tendency to want to gel with your music first to see what you're like, opposed to going crazy. I've seen a lot of bands open asking for like circle pits and walls of death, and then nothing happens, and it's just like, don't push it, man. Just like let the crowd listen to who you are first, and then things will go from there. So I do a lot of moving around and crowd interaction, and I just, if the crowd's not feeling it, or not necessarily not feeling it, but if they're just kind of starting to gel, I'll just introduce the songs and be like, thank you, this is what this song's called, we are called this, so on and so forth. It's a lot less awkward, and it gives people a chance to kind of get a feel rather than feeling forced to do something. So that's how I play it.
All right. And I guess, so Tom, who really influenced your drum style? And I guess, can you also describe to the audience which bands influence the sound of Erebor?
So for the band, I think it would be a shorter list. Initially, when we very first started, it would be stuff like Nile, Hate Eternal. You sort of really pushing it, death metal bands. These days, it's more sort of, there's bits of Obscura, there's bits of Persephone, there's bits of Navel of Ascaris, bits of all sorts of bands like that. Probably Fallujah would be a big one as well. My brother really likes Fallujah, and so do I, to be fair. Myself, it's quite a long list. Having played drums for about 20 years now, there's probably hundreds of people. The big ones would be people like Virgil Donati, George Collier, Derek Ruddy, Sebastian Lanza from Obscura and Obsidious as well. And more recently, someone like Jamie St. Murat from Ulcerate. Man's an absolute wizard. I watch him play drums for hours. It's like watching a painter. It's just incredible. So yeah, there's probably hundreds of people I've missed off, like Simon Phillips and Weckl and all the big heroes.
Let's say, okay, leave out Martin Kearns, may he rest in peace. He was part of Bolt Thrower. Like I said, did you guys ever get to Napalm Death and Bolt Thrower?
Not for me. My metal tastes kind of went from listening to what my dad listened to, being AC/DC and Bruce Springsteen, to listening to what my friends listened to at secondary school, which was Trivium, Killswitch Engage, Slipknot and Dragon Force. To then our old vocalist Jack turned up one day being like, I've just found out about this band called Nile. Have you seen these before? And me being like, oh my god, what's this? Just kind of nosedived into the extreme stuff from there.
Yeah.
We converted him to the dark side of the Force. So,
I mean, I got into Napalm Death. I've seen Napalm so many times, maybe 7, 8, 9 times, something like that. My tastes have a tendency to vary. Mine was new metal to start off with: Slipknot, System of a Down, Spineshank, Korn. Then it started going into things like Cannibal Corpse, Deicide, and just kind of went from there really into like the more extreme stuff. So I like all the things that everybody else in the band likes, but mine's a bit more varied as well. Is that I like everything from like grindcore black metal to brutal death metal. Like I'll generally like most metal subgenres. So
I was gonna say, now it took a little bit because you just got like pretty much a wall of noise that was kind of going on with like drums going crazy, guitars, all sorts of chord progressions and all that stuff, as well as the varied vocal ranges you would always get from like the three vocalists that were part of it. So
it was like just instant hook for me, man. As soon as I saw what George Collier was doing, I was like, right, this is it. This is what I want to do.
Which album was it? Was it Annihilation?
It was Annihilation. It was the specific stuff was, I think, a video of George playing. It might have been Annihilation of the Wicked, or it might have been Cast Down the Heretic, or maybe Black Seeds of Vengeance. But it was the old Kenny Lee YouTube videos where all the lighting's red. If anyone's seen those, they'll know what I'm on about. It's all blastology stuff on YouTube.
I would say I did see Nile this year, and I was pretty excited to see him with 6 Feet Under and a couple other groups. There was Embryonic Autopsy and Psychroptic. That's right.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. I'd love to see Psychroptic.
Yeah.
Get a little Aussie metal going on right there too. So,
oh, that's so good, man.
Yeah. I think the vocalist, I actually think he was the guy in Origin, now that I think about it.
Jason Keyser, I think his name is. Maybe? I don't know. Well,
You're probably right, but whatever. So
I don't know. I wouldn't be so sure.
I guess not. So, just real quick, in terms of lyrics, so Val, you've only done this one album, the Infamous Somnium, I guess,
Yep.
or have you done other work?
I did other work, so I did lyrics for my previous band before Erebor. I did all the lyrics for that. And then this one, like I say, Will just gave me the idea of what he wanted, and I just ran with that. I guess I'll shill myself online as well. I am a hopeful writer and author. I like to write in general. I've done like a video game writing course recently as well. So when I write, I'm very influenced by things like classic literature. I've read a lot of that. Things like Frankenstein, Dostoevsky, Oscar Wilde. I've just finished Wuthering Heights. I finished the Odyssey recently. I'm currently reading Turgenev's Father and Sons at the moment. So I kind of like a more grandeur to what I'm doing, instead of like, and it's not a bad way of writing lyrics with just kind of like, like standard death metal, like I'm going to kill you and you're going to die and and stuff like that. That's fine, and I do like that because I'll say I like all sorts of metal. But when I write, I like to try and be a bit more grandiose and poetic, and I think I enjoy it more when I do that. So I usually like to write lyrics after they've completed the music. I find that to be a lot easier to write to the track. I have been asked to write lyrics prior to the music, which I don't think personally works, in my opinion. So it's usually do the tracks, give me it, I'll write the lyrics to it, and it'll go from there.
That's cool. You know what? I just found this one too. And first off, gotta give a shout out to Sacred Reich, because I saw him recently. But one of their shirts was the whole Surf Nicaragua. And it kind of did like a little, maybe some sort of notice, but it was more like just meant to be fun. It was almost like, come down and surf Nicaragua today. Must be 18 years or older. And you don't need really a surfboard, and then you'd probably get like a sign-on bonus or something. So I was thinking, you guys, since you're based on J.R.R. Tolkien's Erebor, since that had like all the treasure inside, it should be like sign-in bonus, 100 gold coins.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good idea. We did try to do it. We totally forgot to do it, but we wanted to do a Dagoth like the main bad guy from Morrowind. We wanted to do a little like kind of like joke cameo with him, and we even got the voice down for it and everything like that. And we just forgot to use it in the end. We were just like, oh, we had that and we did this, but we never used it. What was that? There was we got sent something a while back. Somebody used our logo as a tattoo piece.
Yeah, they did.
The rings. Yeah, it was just randomly been sent it, and I think they found it on Google, and it was
on Reddit. Someone found it.
Yeah, it was on Reddit. That's it. And somebody sent us it, and I don't know if they're a fan of the band, but they must.
I don't think they are.
Yeah, they must have seen our logo, and they've got an entire Lord of the Rings like Hobbit piece on their back with our logo saying Erebor, and they might not even be a fan of the band. So
it's like massive and slap bang in the middle of his back. It's class.
Well, it's like it's just like, oh well, at least somebody likes it.
I don't know if they, I just thought about Hobbiton that actually exists over there in New Zealand. I was thinking like, oh, if we could get these guys to go over there, I don't know if they have a venue that would be big enough to fit you guys in. But
man, it would be a dream. I wanted to go there anyway, just as a tourist, but to do something like that would be both very thematically awesome and just a hell of a thing to put on the old musical CV, wouldn't it?
It'd be something for the DVDs. It'd be like,
oh yeah, definitely.
Erebor live at Hobbiton. Or Shire, yeah, we could do that, one or two. So, all right. So, The next question here kind of delves into the hard topic of COVID. So, I guess how bad was COVID for you guys personally, family wise? And then I don't know what you were doing music wise. I don't think Val was around at the time in Erebor.
I would.
Music wise, it was obviously a hard stop for everything. Because generally, sort of, as a country, it was quite bad over here in like the restrictions and how sort of locked down we got. We basically couldn't do anything for quite a while. 2 or 3 years maybe it was that we couldn't do anything like that.
It was two.
Two.
It was 2 years.
So yeah, it was basically just a total stop for anything music related, other than writing in a setting like this. I think the lads would get together on like Discord or whatever at the time, and sort of jam riff ideas out and stuff like that. But obviously there was no gigs and no meeting up, and even sort of after the fact, when people were getting used to normal life again, it took a little while for gig numbers to sort of return to the level that they were beforehand, because people were obviously a bit sort of nervous about going out. Not a great time to be a musician, I suppose, but you get through it, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't in the band, so I had no issues. I was in the. So yeah, my life wasn't that strange because I was required, because my job that I did was very hands-on, so I had to be at work to do the job that I needed to do. So my days were quite generally normal. Of that, I'd get up, I'd get the bus, I'd go to work, I'd come back. I think the only thing is that I couldn't get a haircut for around 2 years or so, and it was crazy. I looked like Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia by the end of it. I looked the spitting image of him, and there's like a side by side of the day we're out of lockdown and I'm having a few drinks with my friends when I used to drink, and then and then another picture of me like a year later with like my hair trimmed back and I've lost a bunch of weight, and it's just it's striking. It's like night and day. So yeah, my life was pretty normal, and I wasn't in the band, so it didn't really affect me at the time. So
you got a picture before and after.
Yeah, pretty much.
This was me on crack at one point, and this is me so.
Yeah. Pretty much. Like the episode where Charlie's doing the post office and he's like got the big board. It's all the reds wires attaching everything to everything. So yeah.
Which is say that then when you enter the conspiracy theorist zone at that point, when you start having all the red lines and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. But on a serious note, were you and your families okay?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, mine were fine as well. There wasn't really any issues. For the most part, we just kind of passed on like as normal.
That's good. Good to see you and the families are doing well there, and good to have you guys all here for the ride as well. So
thanks.
But still kind of sticking on COVID a little bit. I think the Newcastle on the tier, or upon the tier, I don't know if it's one or the other, but either or, I guess how's the music scene been, I guess, since COVID? Do you think it kind of took a bad hit and then kind of rebounded?
For the stuff that we do and for the level that we're at, it's never been fantastic, to be honest. There's like quite a small number of very dedicated people that are really into this. You see similar faces every time you play live. It's hard to say whether it's at the level it was beforehand. I would say it probably was. I think it did rebound okay. It just took possibly a little bit of time able to get accustomed to sort of real life again. Yeah, it's almost like it never really happened again now. It's like you see stuff on the floor when you go to a pub or whatever, and it says like, "Oh, keep 2 meters apart." That's sort of the only real reminder that it was ever really even a thing. Very much sort of life as normal over here.
Yeah, the scene didn't. Yeah, the scene just kind of came back as per usual. Really, it just kind of had to take a little time to get back its momentum and just start again. And it's going quite well actually. We've gotten there's always local shows on now, and then there's a lot of bigger bands getting up here around here now than there used to be. So the music scene on here is really getting back to being quite functional again. So,
all right, that's good to hear. So, keep on going strong, there, boys. We always root for the UK guys to come through. So,
nice.
You know, I know going back to both throw a little bit, but I was a little bummed that they were going to probably get back together again after Art Currents had passed away. Because it sounded like they were pretty killer back in the day. But I did see Napalm Death, so I was pretty happy I finally got to see it for the first time in my life this year. So, you've got an up-close selfie with Barney in it, too.
Oh, cool.
Sweet.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome. I'll tell you that much. So, all right. So, I guess go jump into the gear that you boys got. So, I know we only got 2 people, so I guess, do you guys know who the other band members roll with? And I guess, what do you guys get?
Our guitar players use, I'm going to say Ibanez. I'm not going to say that with much commitment. I'm pretty sure it's Ibanez gear. There's a Strandberg being floating around.
Yeah.
For a couple of practices. My brother has something with 6 strings and no frets.
Yeah, he's got a headless bass and he's got a dingwall. That's it. He has a
Oh,
ding.
that's a dingy. That's a fretless 6 string, and he's got another one. I can't remember what that is. He's probably going to kill us for not remembering, but there you go.
I think the guitarists use Helix pedals as well.
Line 6 Helixes.
Yeah, Line 6 Helixes.
Yeah. You're a 58, and yeah, that's your entire gear list is an SM58.
Yeah, an SM58 and an XLR cable, that's all I need, and then usually pretty good. We have got a rig now as well that we bought online, so we've got in-ear monitors with a rig that we can listen to ourselves when we play. And then Tom, you've got the most stuff, so
God, I'm here all week if I tell you everything. I've got it's a 6-piece Mapex kit. I am a sonar man at heart, but I don't have the money for a sonar kit, so I have to imagine. Vinyl cymbals predominantly. Nothing of this is sponsored, obviously, but I'm a vinyl guy. I love vinyl stuff. Evans heads, predominantly ProMark sticks, and I have ACD pedals these days, which are really exciting.
That's pretty cool. And this could also tie in with like future promotions of, I guess, AR material you guys have in mind. But are you guys going to probably use the Ritual Studio again to kind of do any future works?
Definitely. Sam is a bit of a legend. I think we'll have a bit of a friendship with Sam outside of just being a client of his, generally. But I've described him this way to other people before when they've talked about recording the studios and stuff. Like when you go with Sam, it's like having another member of your band for the duration of time that you're there. Like the violin part in Infinitus Part 2, I think it's Part 2. That was never one of our ideas. That was just something Sam put in, and we were like, "Oh, you're a genius! It sounds amazing." So, like, you get that sort of service from him, just as part of what you pay for. That is a hilarious man.
Yeah, he's great, and like Tom says, he thinks about the music in a different way that we probably never would have, and it's always good to have that professional set of ears to listen to it and go like, this should probably go here, or we will put this in like this, and he just helped flesh out the album, so he's really good at what he does. So
I guess what's the plans for this year? I think I did see on some of your posts you guys are doing some shows. I forget the full band. I think it started with Vulgar, then it was something else.
So Vulgar Dissection are probably our closest band friends. We've done a lot of gigs with them. Really solid lads. They're local to us, about 20 minutes down the road. We'll have 2 gigs, I want to say, booked for the rest of the year. Yeah. We've got, in December, we're playing Fringe Fest in York, which is like something run by the Music Society of York University. We did that last year for their inaugural one, and it was quite good. So keen to go back and do that again. Hopefully not as cold this time. In November, very excitingly, we are playing with Narcotic Wasteland, which that's going to be something. I'm really, really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Being a massive Nile fan, Dallas Tollerwade's a bit of a personal hero. So to share the lineup with a man like that is
it's going to be fun.
It's a big moment in our career, I think.
Yeah, we've done pretty well for opening for bands as well. Like you guys played with Suffocation before I joined. We did something with Monuments of Misanthropy, in Visions of Disfigurement, and Cutted Flesh. We opened for Beast, and now we're doing Narcotic Wasteland, which is pretty good set of gigs to have under your belt. So
I actually did interview Dallas Tollerwade a while back.
I know.
Did you?
Yeah, I watched it.
That's funny.
When you reached out and said, "Oh, do you want to come on the show?" I was like, "Oh, I'll check this guy out." I was like, "Oh, Dallas Tollerwade. We've just had confirmation that we'll play with him." Yeah, sound.
I guess how does it work out when you want to try to get someone like as big as ours as Narcotic Wasteland? Do you have to like call their manager or something to say like, "Hey, we got this venue. You want to come and jam with us?"
We got asked if we wanted to play. So there's several promoters up here. There's things like Mosh on the Tyne, Biker Grave are quite big as well, and they just kind of try to get bands to open who are suitable for the lineup. And with obviously Narcotic Wasteland being more of a tech kind of band, they just asked us and just said, "Do you want to be on this bill for this show?" And we were just like, "Definitely." When we did, obviously, when we did the Based one, they were asking for openers, and I just messaged saying, "We're free for this date. We can do this. Is that okay?" So it just depends. Sometimes they ask, sometimes we ask, and it just falls into place when it does, really. So
it basically turns into one of those "thank you God" moments.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That's all cool. And what day did you say that was?
Oh, 17th.
Narcotic Wasteland is November. Let me see. It's in the phone. It's November
17th.
It's not. It's November the 27th. November 27th.
That's embarrassing. So I can't remember the guitar player's birthday.
It's on a Thursday.
Yeah. Sorry.
Thursdays. We're gonna go down there and party. So yeah. That's all cool. Congratulations there, boys, and you got an impressive resume going.
Thank you.
All right. So I guess let's go jump into challenges in this case. So it seems like you guys got a good amount of experience under your belts already, but from your experience, what challenges have you faced back then, and I guess are still kind of facing today? Maybe like marketing, maybe a little bit of financial decisions in that?
Finance is definitely one of them. You probably feel it in America as well, but everything is just so expensive all of the time. In England, in the UK, we are taxed through the teeth over everything. There'll be taxes I tell you about as an American that you'll go like, why are you being taxed for that?
Yeah.
Like, what conceivable reason has that happened? But yeah, financials is always hard. Whether this be recording music,
even just petrol, man, like the cost of petrol.
Yeah, travel,
overnight accommodation and stuff is crazy.
There's been a lot of gigs that have been cancelled or things that have shut down because there was like a campaign was going around, like, buy advance tickets to keep shows going. Otherwise, people think that you're not interested. But then on the caveat to that is buying things after you've paid out all of your essentials is very difficult to do. So finance is definitely something, even though we try the best we can, but it's just kind of what it is at the moment. And then I think the only other real thing that we have is that the style that we do is I think like within our area, we're kind of one of the only real people who do the style that we do. Which isn't to say that people don't appreciate what we do and they don't like us. They do. It's just that sometimes I think because of the style that we do, we sometimes get this thing where people are like, oh, well, we kind of don't know what bands you should be playing with or what bands you should be on rosters with, which is why we're very grateful to like people like Vulgar Dissection, who are kind of just like, we'll just do shows with you because in the end, you're death metal, we're death metal. It's kind of just how it should be. So that can be a bit difficult reaching out to people who like the style that we do, because from what I understand from our metrics on Facebook and Spotify and stuff, most of the people who like what we do are actually in Canada and America. So it's one of those things. But it can be difficult, but I don't think it'll hold us back too much. So
I think we face the same problems that any other band of our size faces, which is how do you stand out from the huge amount of other bands that are around? Yeah. Because you'd have the best music in the world, and I'm not saying we do, but you could have the best music in the world, but if no one can find you, or if you get lost in the forest of other bands, then and I think going back to having a slightly outlandish or out of the norm album cover, stuff like that can help with that sort of thing. Just sort of get you noticed and get people going, oh, what's that? That's interesting. You know what I mean? It's just,
yeah.
So it helped having the purple cover because you had that one
honestly,
person who picked it up. So
yes.
So colors can be deceiving. So
yes,
because I think when I think of metal bands, I almost think like most of it's black or maybe some sort of. I think if you're going like the black metal or the even some death metal groups, would be like the satanic imagery or something going on there. So.
Yeah.
I guess on future releases, I know you guys said you're real big at Denial. I guess would you do something with Egyptian or Middle Eastern sort of theme to it?
I think we kind of found our niche. For me, at least, this album that we've just released has done pretty well for us compared to the other stuff we've released, and I think at least speaking for myself, I enjoy it more than the other things we've released in the past. So I expect anything in the future that will be sort of in a similar vein. Perhaps not 3 really long songs for one album. I sort of put in some smaller ones to break them up a little bit and not go on these sort of 20-minute epics. But I think we've sort of found the stream that works for us and the lane that we're supposed to be in, and I think it'll just be capitalised on that and try to make the most of it.
Yeah, I agree. We have a few things that are written that are more akin to our tech death startings, which we might release as singles just to kind of keep musical juices flowing. And we're also working on album 3 stuff. It's very early stages at the moment, with kind of like a few baseline ideas down of how to start things with maybe a song that's 90% done. But I think I agree with Tom. What we're doing at the moment is kind of what we should sound like and what our natural progression is probably going to be. So, all
right, sounds good. That was worth a try to see where it went. So, all right. And for the last of more major questions, I guess the whole thing kind of delves into more like AI and social media these days. Mm-hmm. So it seems like more so this year, maybe a little bit of even last year, you see a lot more of the AI just really starting to take off, and governments at least probably looking at it, but probably more so just seeing more of the gain than perhaps a human element into it, I guess. But I guess, what's your opinions of AI and social media these days?
I think the AI stuff can be a useful tool if you're using it for something like referencing. If you're writing something you want to reference, or if I don't know, Val, if you're writing something and you think like, give me a list of places that this is mentioned, and it'll pull X book, Y book, Z book, then you can go and check those places. I don't like it when it replaces a human job, whether that's creative or otherwise. I don't think. Yeah, and like album art, I don't think you'll ever see one of our releases with anything AI generated on the cover, just because that's someone's livelihood. I'd rather pay a human being to do it than buy something that's made by a machine. I think that probably rings true for the rest of the guys. Social media, personally, I see is a bit of a necessary evil. I don't really like it. But you've kind of got to use it, haven't you? Because how else are people going to find out about your band?
Yeah, I totally agree. AI's fine as Tom says, as a referencing tool. It's also fine as a metrics tool as well, like using it to figure out finances or listeners, or kind of using it to catalog things or so on and so forth. You get the idea. Basically, really boring, busy work that has insane amounts of numbers to it that a human being couldn't possibly do in any which way, shape, or form. Is fine. It's like I say, behind the scenes stuff, it's okay to do. When it comes to things like art and writing or something like that, I would never use AI to do lyrics. I wouldn't like to use AI created art for an album. So it's like Tom says, and social media is a necessary evil. I don't like it either. I personally would rather not use it. I'd rather go back the days where you play shows and you write to record labels and stuff like that. I would much prefer that, but that's not the day that we're in. And yeah, that's kind of those are essentially my thoughts on it as well. Like algorithmic stuff, like suggesting, like Spotify AI algorithms to suggest bands to you based on what you listen to is fine as well. I am opposed to it though, because I know that it's causing issues with the environment in the sense of it's the amount of energy and water it takes. And I think I watched something a little while back about the metadatabases or data banks or whatever, like using up crazy amounts of water in a small town in America somewhere. Was basically they had to ration water because the rivers were just drying up in places like at certain times of the day and stuff. So I'm opposed to AI use for the most part as well.
I would say for the social media, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise since we managed to make this happen here through Facebook.
True.
Yeah.
It does have its upsides, as much as I do dislike it.
Yeah.
In which case we could say your prayers were answered in that case. Yeah. But I can understand it, but it was at least a good idea posting about the whole thing with Infinitus Somnium. So yeah. So plus like the artwork there too, so that's what caught my eye. Yeah. But tread carefully, not sure what's gonna happen right here, so we have to see what happens. So good luck, boys.
Well, of course.
All right. So, boys, we basically the questions here pretty good. So now we're going to get into the fun ones. Ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right. We'll start with the first one right here. That's what it was in the list, but I do want to ask about what sort of hobbies do you do outside of music and I guess whatever your main jobs are?
We cross over quite a bit on this. So if you couldn't tell by the shirt, which you might not, and the gigantic bolt gun in the background, we're both massive Warhammer fans. So a lot of both of our time, I think, is spent painting tiny little army men and reading about tiny little army men and watching videos about tiny little army men, video games about tiny little army men. Motorbikes, I like watching MotoGP, bit of bike racing. God, what else do I do? I think that's about it, to be honest. It's mostly the Warhammer and working, unfortunately.
I'm same thing. I like Warhammer 40,000. I paint Emperor's Children specifically. Video games, big thing for me. I used to work in the video games industry as a QA tester maybe 9-10 years ago now. I like reading. I like writing because I'm trying to be a novelist, and I'm into Magic the Gathering, really big as well. The amount of money I've spent on Magic the Gathering cards now is obscene. And I work in an office job during my normal time. I work in market research. It's just an office job of like sorting answers and sorting data and things like that. It's fine. It pays what I want to do the things that I like. And then we like music as well. We go to gigs whenever possible. When was the last one we went and saw Decapitated and Critopsy?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
that was the last one. Yeah, and there was also Carnation and oh god, I've forgotten. It was a thrash Warbringer. That's it.
Warbringer,
as well. So we go to gigs whenever we can as well.
I was saying with the little guns in the background there too. I thought people were going to mistake it, be like, "This guy loves his Second Amendment rights."
If I had a Second Amendment right, I would, but no, and that's not a little gun. That's massive.
If only you could get bolt guns in real life.
Oh man, I'd be a happy boy.
Please use responsibly. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool. I guess you guys want to show off the ink real quick, or at least what you can show, because I know Mal's got it all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, like I can. I won't get my.
Get your kid off, Mal. Get on.
Yeah, I won't get that off.
Take your shirt off. So yeah.
Tattooed quite regularly by a guy. Aaron Turner. He runs Black House Tattoos in Preston. He's a good friend of mine. Known him for 20 years. But I've got the Berserk sigil on me. I'm a big anime manga guy as well. Hunter's Mark, Bloodborne, big FromSoft guy. I've got like the entire arm done in like Japanese. I've got another Japanese samurai up here. This is something that I don't like anymore, so that's going to get blacked out. I've got a big Japanese stork on my torso. Most of my legs are done as well. I won't get my legs out on stream. Stuff like that. I don't really have a lot of space left, so I get tattooed as well quite often. So yeah.
If it wanted to show off the legs, you could do an OnlyFans page next.
Yeah, maybe that could help with the finance band. Who knows?
There we go. That'll do.
Yeah.
I guess Tom, you don't have any ink.
Nothing. No, I'm as clean as the day I was born, and I will remain that way for the rest of my life, I think.
Fair enough. All right. So I guess I'm curious if there's a particular dish I've not heard about from the UK, but let alone Scotland, because I know you're here close to the Scottish border there. But what would you say is your favorite food?
Ooh, that's difficult. Wow. Wow. Can you think, Tom? Because
simple, man. I have two things that I really, really like. I like anything that's obnoxiously hot. So curries of any description that are just insane in heat. And simple things like steak. You know, nicely cooked, big fat steak with some good chips or something. A happy boy. Anything in pastry as well, like a pie or anything like that. I'm very northeastern in that regard.
Yeah, England's quite especially where we are in England. It's quite a cold country, so we have a lot of kind of fatty, hearty kind of meals. So I think what I'll do is, if I have to choose, which is difficult, I'd probably say a full English breakfast is one of my favorite things. Yeah, so probably that, and like the typical kind of stuff like a Sunday roast as well. Those kind of things I really, really like. So
not the whole tea and crumpets. Is that what I normally do?
To be honest, I've never really tried like scones and stuff until maybe a couple of years ago. I'm totally converted. Awesome. That's the meme, and I know we'll get bagged on for it, but man, you're missing out if you haven't had them. They're absolutely class.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. Yeah, we always know about the Indian curry because we could think when you used to have India at one point in the whole vastness of the British Empire at one point.
Yeah.
We did. So yeah. All right. So I know we talked a good bit about anime right there. So I guess, do you have a favorite movie, TV series? We can also throw an anime there too if you want to do one.
I have a few favorite movies. I don't really watch movies a lot. I mainly watch anime, and I usually watch stuff online. But my favorite overall anime, because I have it tattooed on me, is Berserk. I'm just a big Berserk nerd. I really love, movie-wise, I would probably say the one that comes to mind the most is a British film called Middletown. I really enjoyed that. I haven't watched movies in a long time. My girlfriend made me watch a film called Dinner in America, which was absolutely amazing. It's one of the best films I've ever watched. So yeah, and then stuff like Freerian, At Journey's End, Jobless Reincarnation, stuff like that. Like I haven't watched as much anime as some of my friends, but I watched enough for it to be a problem. So I like stuff like that. I like really kind of like in depth in kind of like dark fantasy or stuff like that. That's kind of my thing. That's what I really like.
I would say for dark fantasy, I mean, Berserk. If you start off that you were born from a body that's being hung, then yeah, you start off very dark. To be honest, you know this is going to be a dark anime. Yeah,
it's one of my faves. One of my faves. I've actually got a panel from the manga tattooed on my ribs, like of Guts himself. So I've got two Berserk tattoos.
I just thought maybe it was going to be one where he actually does go berserk. It's like, so,
well, unfortunately, Kentaro Miura, he passed away like a couple of years ago now, and some of his proteges have taken over, but it's gone back to being released only every so often. I think the last chapter was released maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and then they're like, oh, a new chapter's coming out in January next year, and everybody's like, I'm going to be dead before this is over, or any conclusion happens. But I don't know do you have like a favorite film, Tom, or anything like that? Or
I mean, I'm not an anime fan by any stretch of the imagination, so I have no idea what that last conversation was about.
It's okay.
The obvious choice is The Lord of the Rings. For me, I absolutely adore The Lord of the Rings. Over the last 3 weekends, we've sat and made the girlfriend watch the extended editions with no phones, and she has thoroughly enjoyed them. We finished Return of the King yesterday, about 11:30 at night. Sat and watched the whole thing. It was great.
Nice.
Outside of The Lord of the Rings, it would probably be, if I had to pick an absolute favourite, it would be Alien. I love Alien.
That's a good choice as well.
Oh, it is Halloween, so I guess we can now scare ourselves and think our chests are about to burst open from a little egg laid inside. So yeah.
I found out recently that, have you seen Alien 3? If you've seen the third, I think it's the third one, it's either the third or fourth one, there's a scene, the opening scenes, like where the prison ships crashed on the beach or something. That beach is about 10 miles from my house.
Yeah,
until very recently.
Loads of people record up here for that beach specifically because of the way that it looks, and like the castles up here, and I think Transformers. Yeah, Transformers was done in the middle of Newcastle or something like that recently. So,
well, sure, Ridley Scott's from Hartlepool, just down the road.
Oh, right, okay.
I think so. Anyway, might be wrong.
I could definitely give you guys credit for having a good film team, because my mom watches a good bit of your murder mystery sort of shows. So,
okay.
So we always make the joke that you blokes are killing each other way too much over there.
There's nothing else to do, so
Yeah.
It's
always raining.
I guess so. All right, those are all great choices. And I'm just gonna say, Tom, when you do see Berserk, it starts off pretty dark right off the bat. So brace yourself.
That sounds it. Yeah.
Also, are you more the extended edition, or do you just do the regular for the Lord of the Rings?
There's only the extended edition. There is no theatrical cut for me. If it's not 4 hours long, I'm not interested.
You're thinking. All right, good choices. All right, so not sure if you blokes drink, but if you do, I guess you got a favorite alcoholic choice, and then what's your favorite non-alcoholic choice?
I like a beer or two. There's an English beer called Old Speckled Hen, which is my absolute favourite. It's I don't know how to describe it other than like about as red as a beer could possibly be in colour, and it just goes down so easy. I like Speckled Hen. I don't know if you can get them in the States, but the Belgians make this unbelievable stuff. They come in very small little bottles, but they're unbelievably strong. I think it's 10.5%. This stuff, little blonde beers, but they taste so nice, man. Honestly, like it's danger water. That's unreal. Outside of that, outside of boozing, just coffee and water. Really, I don't really drink anything else. Black coffee, water, and full fat milk, I suppose.
I don't drink anymore. This October I'll be 3 years sober. But when I did drink, I really used to love Guinness, and I was a big rum fan as well. Dark rum was very much a thing that I liked too. But non-alcoholic, I'm trying to cut down on the amount of sugared drinks that I do drink. But when I do, I'm a big Iron Brew fan, which is like one from Scotland specifically, very famous. But there's a couple of American imports I really love, which are Dr. Pepper Cream Soda and Dr. Pepper Strawberry and Cream. Those things are like nectar, and I have to kind of hold myself back from buying them. Yeah, essentially, because I just love them. So those are probably my three favorite ones that are non-alcoholic now that I don't drink.
People just gonna look at you funny at the store where it looks like he's just struggling, and it seems like he's being pulled away.
It's like me and my friend. Whenever we used to do one where we would buy a Dr. Pepper Cream Soda and just take a picture of it, and it would just be like, "Ooh, lovely." So yeah, they're very good. They're very, very good.
All right, great choices. And for the last of the fun questions, what music have you been listening to recently, whether they're indie or mainstream?
It depends. I've been listening to a lot of Belphegor recently. I've been going through their discography. I've been going through Hate's discography. And I would probably say this year my favorite releases have been the new Rivers of Nihil album. I can't remember what it's called now, but it was really good. And probably Elegion, the Ossuary Lens. That's easily my favorite release of this year. So I've just been doing that. I have the tendency to work through bands that I previously listened to, and then just get a bunch of new bands in and just listen to their discography. So it's mainly been Belphegor, Elegion, and Hate at the moment. Tom?
A lot of non-extreme metal, to be honest, because as much as I love, blast beats in the gym, listening to it all the time can be a bit tiring. So Tool would be a big one for me. Absolutely love Tool. Opeth, Vola. I listen to a lot of Vola. But a lot of the music I listen to, I consume through like watching videos of people play drums on YouTube. So Simon Phillips is a big one for me at the minute, with his Protocol band, Protocol 4 in particular. And again, Sebastian Lanza, who I mentioned earlier on, I watch a lot of his Obsidious playthroughs, so I sort of absorb the music through that. But yeah, it's a lot of sort of non-extreme stuff for me at the minute.
All right, those are all great choices right there. So, all right. So boys, we're down to one more question on my podcast, but I guess before we jump into it, would you like to ask me anything real quick, or maybe say something to get off your shoulders or something?
Let me think. I know. Do you
have anyone in the gig industry? You could send us the details. Know anyone that puts shows on?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, have you got a favorite album this year so far, or something that's really stood out and you can't stop listening to it, or?
I mean, just last night, just listening to you guys, that was pretty killer to say the least.
Come on.
We didn't pay him for that either.
Yeah.
That was totally natural.
That was spontaneous.
Yeah. I'm not sure really, because it's normally been more songs. I don't know if this song came out, but I know Orbit Culture What was it? While We Serve. I know that one was a good one there. So, but
Nice.
I'm not sure. I think a lot of the mainstream bands are like well known. Maybe mainstream's not the right word, but it seems like they've done like more of individual or single songs.
Yeah.
So I think I know Dying Fetus was getting ready to. I think Into the Cesspool was a new one they came out with.
Yeah, they
What a band.
released that
What a
recently.
great band.
Yeah.
A little too progressive for me on drums. I'll tell you that much. So.
And I don't know, I guess, what's the scene like over there? I have the tendency to think that you have to travel far to get to see bands, or is it quite frequent? Or
Are you just talking about in my neck of the woods, or?
Yeah, your neck of the woods, like, do you have to travel quite far to see a band? Do you do it quite often, or?
This year, I've done the most this year, to be honest, because at this point, it's like, just fuck it. Let's go live life. So
Yeah.
there are a fair amount of venues. I think, I don't know in terms of like time limits, we'll say like 20, 30 minutes. So,
That's okay.
but I mean, just last week, I went to go see Dark Angel at this small wedding venue. So
No, that's cool. That is actually cool.
that's
Yeah.
actually where I got the Sacred Reich shirt. And,
Nice.
Oh, cool.
and Hyrax. That was the first time I ever heard of Hyrax and saw them play. So that was
Nice.
great.
Nice.
You know what? I felt bad because this was happening during the same time that there was a Judas Priest and Alice Cooper concert happening at a different venue, a little further outside Pittsburgh. That's where I'm located. So
Yeah.
all the metal heads went there.
Yeah, I love Judas Priest. I'm a big Judas Priest fan, so I'm very jealous. I've only ever seen them once, and they are playing Bloodstock next year, but I don't think I'll be able to afford to go. But yeah, I'm a big Judas Priest fan, so I'm jealous that you had it, but I'm also upset that you couldn't see it either. So
Oh, I had no idea because I was looking for Ticketmaster. I don't know if you guys can do the same or whether to use a different site, but Ticketmaster never brought it up. So, and I saw Dark Angel be like, oh, hell yeah, I got to see this because Dark Angel, they've been in and out of the scene so many times. So it's like, it's best to make a count now before they decide to go on hiatus again.
yeah,
So, I mean, like I said, I saw Napalm Death earlier. They were at the Melvins, and then there was two other groups, Titans, Techions, and I forget what the very first one was. It was like some sort of techno duo. I don't know who they were, but wasn't really a fan. Let's see, there was those ones. I didn't mention about Nile, that whole thing earlier.
Yeah.
I feel like I know I'm missing somebody. I think I know I put it up on a YouTube channel. It's not coming to me right now, so I have seen a good amount of bands this year, but I also saw Iron Maiden last year.
nice.
So I get both the metal gods of Rob Halford and Bruce Dickinson coming through. So,
Sick.
Pretty cool, man.
all right.
Pretty cool.
Anything else?
Not for me.
Yeah, kind of just I think it was mainly music really, and you've told me. I mean, like, I can't think of anything else at the moment. You put me on the spot.
You'll come to it later and be like, wait, I forgot to ask this question.
Yeah, probably.
So, all right. But if there's nothing else, here's how the last question goes.
No problem.
So way back when, I used to form this question around COVID because that was normally when the podcast had started. But these days, you're seeing a whole lot more of the negativity. I don't know if you guys have the same political polarization like what you see over here, like in the States.
Yeah.
But given the amount of negativity these days, I think people need some sort of hope, or at least something that seems like sanity or normal to them, to say the least. So what would be your message of hope for musicians and people out there so they can move forward with their lives?
You have to keep trying. Like if you want some kind of inspiration, I mean, like I'm 37, I'm gonna be 38 next year. I kind of didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life until roundabout now, and I've written 100,000 words of a dark fantasy novel within 7 months or something like that, with 2 edits, and then I've done an extra 50,000 for a second book. My message would be is like, even if it sucks now, it could be better later, and it's better to stick around and at least try to see what can happen and stick to something than it is to just not bother at all. I'm going to go through an editing process. I have zero idea what I'm doing, completely new to it. I've got a GoFundMe on the go to try and help raise funds to do so. And I'm kind of diving into this blind, but it's in the end, the desire to be successful kind of overrides the fear of getting it wrong. So my kind of thing to people would be is, you may not know what you want to do now, but it may come later, and you'll eventually get your perspective on what you want to do later on. So just keep striving, essentially.
I don't know if mine's a message of hope necessarily, but advice for musicians, I'm not really in a place to give any, because we've had a very small amount of success ourselves. But my advice would be that, if you're making music or whatever, do it because you want to do it. Don't do it. It's like, this is a guaranteed way to get me money and women and fame and stuff, because odds are it's not, and you'll just be disappointed. But if you make music that you like and you're doing it because you like doing it, then you're going to be far more satisfied with the outcome, whatever that may be. It might be fame and fortune and world tours and all sorts, or it might just be playing the pub down the street once or twice a month. But if you're doing it for the love of doing it, you're going to be having a better time than if you try and desperately to force the success. That comes out in the music that you write as well.
Definitely.
Spoke like a bunch of true prodigies. So. All right. But thank you boys so much for sharing right there. It really does mean a lot. So I guess what time would it be over there? Is it about to be 8? It's after 8 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Past 8, yeah.
Past 8, yeah.
Let's go to the pub. Let's do that.
It's a Sunday night. I've got to go to work tomorrow. I'm not going to the pub.
Yeah, it's a work day
I'd
tomorrow.
love to.
Sadly, yes. All right. But drink responsibly if you do go. So.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. But boys, we have reached the end of my podcast right here. We talked probably a little under an hour and 30 minutes, but nonetheless, want to give any shout outs to anybody or any other final words?
We'll give, I would probably say it's just people who are fans. Shout out to Sam at Ritual, because he's obviously helped a lot. We'll shout out a few bands as well, because they've looked after us. So we'll shout out Vulgar Dissection, Ovulating Cadaver as well. And we will
Rumination, I would say.
Rend Them Asunder is probably another one from Scotland. They've really helped us out. And so I would say there's probably other people. If we've missed you, it's not because we don't like you, it's because it's just not coming to memory now, but you know who you are, and just cheers for helping out, essentially.
You could tell he was nervous when he was scratching right there too. Like, please don't hurt me. I'm sorry I forgot your name. So all right. Todd, did you want to give any shout outs, or did Val kind of take it all?
Nice. Hit the nail on the head. The guys that we play with a lot, like Volga and like Rumination, and the guys in Desolation and stuff. Obviously check those bands out as well if you like the sort of thing that we're doing. They're not exactly like us, but they're they're all fantastic bands. We can only keep doing shows and stuff because people keep going to them and keep checking the bands out. So if you want to keep going, keep checking it out, I suppose.
I guess so, but good luck to share, boys. Just real quick, what social media and streaming platforms are you on so they can check you out and interact?
Absolutely everything. I think we're at Erebor Official on basically everything. It's
Spotify, Apple Music, I believe. We've got YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and we have a link tree as well if you want to see just a singular place for everything that you can go to. And then we have
linked on every page that we'll have as well. So if you find one, you can find the rest.
Yeah, and like Bandcamp and stuff like that. So
actually, I thought you said fierce book at first. I was like fierce. So just because of dialect, but it's okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. But we have to close out like this. Everyone, my guest today were Val and Tommy. They're hailing from the lovely state of, or I can't say state, but country of UK. There we go. Sorry, I've been interviewed too many people out of the States. So, so they're from the country of the United Kingdom right there too. But nonetheless, they're part of the band Erebor. So get them on all socials, all streaming platforms. These guys put some killer music. Yeah, just I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong with this whole interview, but Infinitus Somnium.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
correct.
wrong one. Okay, yeah.
Nailed it.
So that's a new EP that came out. So go check it out. It kicks some major ass. So, boys, thank you guys so much again for coming on here. So you do stay safe because you know there's one pretty fucked up world out there.
Thanks for your time, Brian. It's been a pleasure.
And the last thing, I just did a quick pose from y'all. Stay tuned, y'all.
Thank you very much.